Mr. Speaker, in preparation for the 2018 Farm Bill, the House Agriculture Committee has held 21 hearings during the past 2 years on the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program known as SNAP. The committee has heard over 30 hours of testimony from over 60 experts, both liberal and conservative, from all across the country. We have heard from academics, advocacy groups, federal and state government officials, charitable organizations, and even a few people who have relied on SNAP for food assistance. All of our witnesses have confirmed what we know to be true. SNAP works. It is a powerful program that helps to alleviate poverty and food insecurity, and it is worthy of our support. So today I'd like to share with my colleagues a few of the most important takeaways from the 21 hearings I participated in as ranking member of the Nutrition Subcommittee. First, SNAP benefits should not be cut. 42 million Americans, including working families, veterans, seniors, children, and the disabled, struggle to put food on the table. In the richest country in the history of the world, I find that unconscionable. SNAP is a vital tool that helps struggling Americans get back on their feet, and participation has steadily declined as economic conditions have improved. Second, the current SNAP benefit is inadequate. On average, SNAP households receive about $225 a month. The average benefit per person is about $126 per month, which works out to be a meager $1.40 per person per meal. You can't buy a Starbucks coffee for that. Pamela Hess with the Arcadia Center for Sustainable Food and Agriculture said it best during her testimony before the Agriculture Committee, and I quote, "People can't parent well and raise happy, healthy children who are ready to learn, and you can't work well if you are hungry, if you are wondering where your next meal is coming from," end quote. Cutting this meager benefit would be a rotten and heartless thing to do, especially as so many in our country continue to face incredible hardships. Third, SNAP does not discourage work. The majority of people on SNAP who can work do work. Almost 70% of SNAP recipients aren't expected to work because they're kids, they're elderly, disabled, or caring for a young child or disabled family member. More than half of SNAP households with at least one working-age, non-disabled adult do work while receiving SNAP, and more than 80% work in the year before or after receiving benefits. Under current law, able-bodied adults without dependents, known as ABODs, are limited to 3 months on SNAP out of every 3 years if they aren't working. I don't agree with that provision, but I've come to learn that some of my Republican colleagues want to shorten that time, that makes these very vulnerable, shorten the time that these very vulnerable adults can remain in the program. Make no mistake, such a move wouldn't help people find jobs. It would only make them hungry and more vulnerable. As Sherry Tussler of the Milwaukee Food Bank noted in her testimony before the Agriculture Committee, and I quote, "Somehow we have determined that punishing people with hunger will motivate them to work. Hunger doesn't motivate, it dulls and it makes people sick," end quote. Fourth, case management requires a well-funded multi-year commitment. Case management that helps connect those in need with tailored services to move out of poverty can be successful, but those investments cost money. We need to adequately fund these efforts. Lastly, block grants threaten programs that provide an economic ladder. Past Republican budgets have proposed block granting SNAP, but we know from decades of experience that funding for block granted programs erodes over time and does not provide the same responsiveness to economic conditions that SNAP does. SNAP expands during times of economic hardship and contracts as the economy recovers. It successfully reaches those in need and is only limited by the modest benefit calculation and hurdles to access, like the ABOD time limit. There is no reason whatsoever, based on all of our hearings, to undermine SNAP through structural changes, block grants, further restrictions, more onerous requirements, or cuts. At a minimum, the next Farm Bill must do nothing to make hunger worse in this country, period. Instead, we should focus on strengthening our anti-hunger safety net to make sure anyone who needs modest food assistance benefits has access to them. We need to support and expand innovative programs that help to increase the purchasing power of SNAP, and we need to increase SNAP benefits to provide families who benefit from the program access to more nutritious foods that last them through the month. Mr. Speaker, today, chefs and advocates from across the country are on the Hill with Food Policy Action and Environmental Working Group to discuss issues related to the Farm Bill, including our anti-hunger safety net. I urge my colleagues to listen to these chefs. They are food experts, and pay attention to them, especially when they ask you to support policies that will be aimed at ending hunger now. With that, I yield back my time.
Thank you. The chair